Congress is inching closer to a possible showdown with President Obama over the Keystone XL oil pipeline. The Republican-led House approved the project. Supporters in the Democratic-run Senate are predicting they'll get the necessary 60 votes needed to pass it this week. The president has environmental concerns about the pipeline, mainly its effect on global warming. But House Speaker John Boehner is calling on the president to drop his veto threats and sign the bill. So what are the implications of this battle of the pipeline? That's our topic this half hour, and we want to hear from you on our Fox 26 Facebook page. You can also send a tweet. Be sure to use the hashtag Fox26for Life. Joining us live in the newsroom is our Roundup panel, led this morning by our legal analyst, Chris Tridico. All right, Chris, so this is really going to come down to a handful of Democrats.
It really is, but before we begin, Sally, I have to say that Sam Houston State University, the best university in Texas, did win again yesterday.
They're on a roll.
76-0. So I had to point
the orange
that out.
tie.
Yeah, that's right.
Looking good.
You know, the Keystone Pipeline, I don't personally understand the president's objections to it. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. But the new battle here that we're waging right now is really in an attempt by the House and the Senate to affect the runoff race in Louisiana for the Senate seat that Landrieu holds right now. Let me introduce our panel. Mustafa and Jackie are both off today, so we brought in Jerry Bernberg, former Harris County Democratic Party chairman, and Jared Woodfill, our friend, former Republican Democratic Party chairperson. Let me start with you, Jerry. Can the Senate, if the Senate can't get 60 votes, can't advance this, can it even help Landrieu in Louisiana?
Oh yeah, but in ways that are really irrelevant. It possibly helps her because she can go campaign and say, see, I tried to get the Keystone Pipeline bill through Congress. The problem is that the person whose bill it is her opponent. So, you know, I don't see how that helps her politically. But yes, she can go out there and has something to campaign on for the December runoff.
She was pretty far behind anyway. It's probably not going to be effective.
It's not going to work. I mean, that race is all but over. The reality is, just a few weeks ago, the people said, turn the spigots on Keystone Pipeline. And Mary Landrieu has been real late to that game. And so she showed up lately and said, oh yeah, me too, count me in. But the truth is, this is all about jobs. I mean, you create 35,000 jobs as soon as you turn it on and let it start moving again. Up to 2035, you'll create about 500,000 jobs. It gives us energy independence, creates jobs, lowers the price of oil and gas. That is a good thing. Democrats, get on board.
Let's talk about that because the economics is changing. The price of a barrel of oil has dropped so much that it may not even be a viable pipeline anymore because it's so expensive to get the oil out of the sand.
Wait a minute. First, I've got to confront my good friend Jared's math. The Congressional Budget Office says it creates not 35,000, 35 permanent jobs. Now, during the construction phase, for approximately 2 years, it will create 2,500 temporary jobs during the construction phase. He is right. It does create thousands of jobs, but not here. It creates thousands of jobs in China for the Chinese who are creating the steel which will be used in the pipeline. But here, everybody agrees the maximum number of jobs is 35.
Doesn't it take more than 35 people to build a pipeline?
Hang
on, doesn't it take more than 35 people to build a pipeline?
Listen to what I said. During the 2 years it's being constructed, there are 2,500 temporary jobs. After it's finished being constructed in 2 years, it's 35 permanent jobs, period.
All right, now let me ask you this, because I hear the 35,000 all the time, and I do not believe that it creates 35,000 permanent jobs. I don't think that that's possible, but I do believe it creates more than 35 jobs.
Right. Well, and the jobs are either part of the creation or related to the project. So we don't just stop there. Let's not talk about the 35,000 that are created immediately. Let's talk about the 500,000 jobs that are created by 2035. The studies are very clear on that.
Off the pipeline?
Absolutely. And related entities now doing business with that pipeline. And as a result of that oil and gas coming through the United States.
I got to go to Sally right now. When we come back, I want to talk about the economics because all of that goes away if they can't get oil out of the sand. Let me go to Sally. She's in the studio monitoring our social media.
All right, let's check in on Twitter, and our Twitter followers are talking about the economics as well. First, we go to Ben. He says, regarding the Keystone Pipeline, the vote is on the northern section. It won't help Landrieu, he says. This guy says if Obama vetoes, he'll be showing contempt for the midterm results and the State Department. He'll be putting politics before energy security and jobs. And then this environmentalist, Coastal Mistress, says the pipeline will not create thousands of jobs. It will privatize the profit and socialize the risks.
Well, I'm not sure I understand that last one, but
Well, he means that everybody's going to have to pay for oil spill cleanup because this bill has a specific exemption. It's the only one that there is out there that if there is a pipeline spill, TransCanada doesn't have to pay for it. The taxpayers do.
Well, let's talk.
Hang on. Let me get back to the economics. If the Senate approves this, which I'm not sure that's going to happen, and they try to build this pipeline, if the economics don't work, then the pipeline's nothing. It's just a big expense.
Look, here's the reason that is a red herring. That Sartan's oil is going to China one way or the other, either across Canada and then across the ocean to China, or across the United States to the Gulf Coast, and then loaded onto ships and sent to China. But one way or the other, it's going to China.
But let me, you know, what's interesting about this is over 30 of Jerry's brethren in the House actually voted for this bill on Friday. Secondly, it creates 800,000 additional barrels of oil coming each day. You talk about the environmental impact. It is much more environmentally dangerous and makes us environmentally vulnerable to move this oil and gas by rail than it is to come through a pipeline underground. So the environmental arguments are red herring. It's all about folks who just don't want us using oil and gas.
All right, we're going to have to leave it right there. We'll be back in a little bit with another really good topic, and they are very fired up this early in the morning.